Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace, love, and blessings of Allah be with you. Welcome to Ramadan Transformation. This is day number 26, Shukr, gratitude. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. There's so much I want to say about this. First and foremost, be grateful for what you've got. You're here in Ramadan and you're fasting and you feel close to Allah. The Quran says, be grateful and Allah will increase you. Be grateful and Allah will give you more. You know, it occurred to me as I was memorizing the Quran, I was like, oh man, I just remembered that, I want to memorize all of the Quran, inshallah, right? And I remembered this saying of the Quran that be grateful and Allah will give you more. Well, and I realized that, oh, I should be grateful for all of the Quran I've already memorized, because if you're grateful, Allah will give you more. Then I was like, how can I express my gratitude to Allah that I've memorized all of this Quran? And I was like, oh, by reciting it. So I was driving home from the mosque and I was like, I just started reciting the verses that I'd memorized over the last few days. And the feeling of gratitude just overwhelmed me, right? Because I was expressing gratitude by reciting what I'd memorized, and the feeling just kept getting stronger and stronger. And I was feeling more and more grateful for what I had memorized. So that's the first thing about shukr. Be grateful for what you've got. And, we were just talking about how in Ramadan, there's this really amazing feeling when you're in the mosque. And a few days ago, the 25th night, I was in the mosque and they made me lead the prayer. And there was a really somber feeling in the room. And there was a lot of people there. And, they wanted the younger people to kind of, take over. I much prefer it when other people lead the prayer, especially during Ramadan and especially during this night. The last thing I wanted to do was lead the prayer, but, I had to. So I stepped up and I said, Allahu Akbar. And then we started praying. And I felt a power that I'd never felt before. Because it wasn't just the power of leading a prayer, because I've led the prayer before, but to be there in the last third of the night, potentially on Laylatul Qadr, right, the most powerful night of the year that's worth 1,000 months, to have standing behind you, shoulder to shoulder, people who have just come to put their forehead on the ground. It was just this feeling of really deep, powerful feeling of Allah. It was like Allah was in the room with us, because Allah was there with us. And there were angels in the room with us as well, worshipping with us. So this feeling of gratitude just got deeper and deeper. And be grateful for those moments, because they do come during Ramadan and during other parts of the year. The more gratitude you have for them, the more you'll experience them. There's another thing I wanted to say. Later that night, we went and we had breakfast together and we started eating together in the mosque to get ready for the next day. And I usually do it to calf, but I didn't do it to calf this year because I had to teach this series, right? So I was like, I better, I'll do it next year. But nonetheless, so anyway, I was in the mosque, we were having breakfast, and this young guy was sat with me, and I said to him, can you imagine someone praying the way we prayed in the middle of the night in the mosque every night of the year? Could you imagine Allah punishing that person with hell? It's unimaginable, right? To a worshipper, right? To somebody who worships, it's like, well, it's unimaginable that Allah could punish that person with hell. He said, if tonight is Laylatul Qadr, then the power of tonight's prayer is literally like us doing this prayer every single night for the rest of our lives. How can you not be grateful at that thought? If all you did was pray at night during the last 10 days or during the last odd days, It's literally like you prayed every single night your entire life like that. It's the most blessed night of the year. Yeah. Another thing to be grateful for. During Ramadan, the fasts these days are really hard. I'm feeling it right now. It's about 8 o'clock in the evening, right? So I've got an hour and a half to go. I'm feeling it. The fasts are really long and the nights are really short. But even though the nights are shorter, the blessings in those nights, and even though the fasts are longer, the blessings of fasting actually increases the harder it gets. So what do I mean? So the night is short. The night now is maybe 4 or 5 hours, right? 4 hours probably. Well, even if the night is only 4 hours, all of the blessings of the night prayer, you know, the last third of the night is the most blessed of the whole night. It only lasts an hour. The acts you do during those hours, you're rewarded for the same as you would if you spent, you know, if the last third of the night now, it's probably like an hour or 2 hours. There are some parts of the year where the last third of the night is 4 hours or 6 hours. Not 6 hours, 4 hours. Well, you're being rewarded. Even though it's just an hour now, you're being rewarded as you would for worshipping for 4 hours. There is so much to be grateful for, and gratitude is a feeling that overtakes your heart. And when it overtakes your heart, it spills out into all of your life. You can't be a miserable believer when there's so much to be grateful for. Be grateful and Allah will give you more. And you know, finally I'll tell you a story. There was a real worshipper of Allah who was a quadriplegic, didn't have arms and didn't have legs. But he was addicted to saying alhamdulillah, which means all thanks be to Allah, and it means all praise be to Allah. It's like alhamdulillah, 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 alhamdulillah. All the time he'd do this. And then at some point, something bad happened and he was still saying alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And his wife said, "Why are you saying alhamdulillah for? What's wrong with you?" And he says, "I'm saying alhamdulillah because Allah guided me to say alhamdulillah in this moment." He was grateful for the fact that Allah blessed him to say alhamdulillah. So even if you just say alhamdulillah, even that is something in and of itself to be grateful for. You know, I say to people, if you make it to a prayer, you've made it. If you make it to a prayer where you're just going to go through this ritual of gratitude, you've made it. You've made it. Where we say Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. Come to prayer, and then we say, come to success. When you make it to prayer, you've made it. So be grateful. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم.